Welcome to the Strategic Growth Experts podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Taracco. I'm here with my friend Chris Burns from Burn It Up Coaching. And Chris Burns is a coach focused on helping people to get clearer and better results in personal development. Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brandon. How are you doing?
Good. Very good.
Awesome.
So I'm glad to have you on the call.
Yeah, me too. I'm stoked. Let's do this.
Awesome. So tell me, what got you into coaching, or what I see you. You're an active speaker. You're engaged in events. What got you into coaching, and what really, what's something really inspiring that you bring to the table?
Yeah, great question. So what got me into coaching was seeing my own first life coach give me tons of clarity around being of service to people and bringing that love, the heart. He was on his way out. He had cancer and didn't have much time to live. So he was really teaching me. He's a successful business owner, had $18 million business at one point. And he was just teaching me these principles of love and being kind and compassionate for people. And when he did that for me, I was like, hey, there's something in this. When people give of themselves to others while being selfish, I definitely preach enlightened self-interest. And if you aren't able to feed yourself, then you're not going to be able to go out there and help very many people. But it's like really, I saw what he was doing for me, and I was like, hey, I can do that. So I didn't do it right away. I didn't jump into coaching right away. I tried a couple different things. I was doing door-to-door sales for a little less than a year. I studied my own marketing and online marketing, and since then I've been just on this path of personal development. And I've spent over $55,000 in my investing in myself, going to events, investing in neuro-linguistic programming, and being a speaker on stage, speaker training. So that's what I'm really able to bring to my clients in terms of the experience. I love having them shift their perspective and empower them using the tools of neuro-linguistic programming to just open them up to new possibilities and have them in action around what's most important to them. And I love seeing people live out their dreams and light that fire underneath their butt and, get into action. So that's really what I'm all about.
Awesome, man. Very cool. So that's great. I mean, there's nothing better than working with somebody who's invested heavily. That's great that you've invested that much in your own personal development, because a lot of times you'll hear people say you have to be a product of the product. And what have you found on your journey and the different courses that you've invested in? What's really the outcome and the result that it has on your life?
Right now, just overwhelming, I would say, love, honestly. Like, I know it sounds kind of silly, but I have just been searching for the depths of my soul for like meaning and for connection and for a reason to exist. And I found through business that it's like a game. I really like to gamify things and take it to the next level, have it be more fun. I'm all about fun and love. And I find that when I give love to other people and I'm showing that and just been grateful and appreciative and thankful, and I just go out of my way to acknowledge people, that's really what makes a difference for us, for our clients, for the people that we work with. If you want to be a good leader, you just honestly have to recognize people. And you have to train yourself to recognize people more often than you probably like, more often than you're comfortable with. So in personal development, after investing all this time, energy, and money, I really see that if you're not clear on where you're going, then it's really difficult to have the skills make a difference for you, right? So basically the $55,000 was like, it was my fast track. It was my school. I went to school for electrical engineering. I got my degree, my bachelor's of science in electrical engineering, but that didn't make a difference for me in finding my purpose, in living my passion, So this personal development journey that I've gone through has allowed me to discover those kinds of things. It allowed me to discover the gift of gratitude and appreciation and acknowledging and loving people, that without it, I don't know how many years it would have taken me. I don't know how many decades. I don't know if I ever would have found it, Even after reading all these books and everything, spending the time, like I think there's something to say that comes with getting into the room with like-minded people and then working together to figure out what's meaningful for you or for them, to help people, to be of service. Like, what is it that you really want? Ask people those tough questions at the end of your life. What do you want written on your tombstone? What do you want to be said at your eulogy, right? And that's something I really start with all my clients is I say, hey, what do you want to live for? Why are you here? And if they can't answer it, then that's one of the main intentions of our time that we spend together,
Wow, that's powerful stuff. Very, very cool, man. So what have you been able to create with that? Like what kind of outcomes have you created, or what kind of change have you created with some of your clients?
Yeah, so for me personally, I'm speaking on stage, training for a number of different companies. New Peaks is probably the biggest one. They've helped over 1.5 million people. So really, every time that I'm with someone, the changes that we make are more, having hope again, right? Having like energy to go after their goals. Because a lot of people are resigned about going after their dreams or getting what they really want. And so one of my biggest results that I get for people is to give them momentum, to create momentum with them, to give them a game plan. That's one thing we work on is, okay, if you have this end life purpose, how do we work backwards and create a 3-year, a 1-year, a 90-day, and a 30-day plan so that you can be on track to hit that life purpose, right? So with my clients, one in particular, I was working with this woman, and she didn't know, what her purpose was, right? It seems to be a lot of my clients' challenges. And she was, kind of stuck in between this business of real estate investing and, actually doing what she wanted to do, right? And so she was working on this real estate investing business and creating the curriculum. And, halfway through, because she found out what it was that she wanted to do, she created this video production company, right? And she was able to, actually live into her purpose of being able to capture people's essences, their memories at events, from seminars and live events. She goes, and it's like this portable company that gets testimonials and sets up shop at these different seminars. And we were able to help her discover that through the coaching, through discovering the purpose, and then start to grow it.
That's very cool, man. That's awesome. What that makes me think of is, I think coaching is kind of a aggregate term. Now, not a lot of people understand it, and not a lot of people understand the power behind it and kind of the results that you create. Like what I'm hearing from that is, you've created some results that really are priceless. Really the results that you can get from working with good coaches and good mentors, the results are really priceless. You really can't put a dollar amount on that, on finding your purpose. Some people go their whole lives and don't find it. Some people go their whole lives and don't even make one simple change in their life that could increase their happiness. Yeah, exactly. So to be that catalyst for people is what bigger joy could you find? My mission in life is to really awaken people, everyone I meet, to their power and the God within each person. We all have this power to, we created this universe. We're born of stardust. We have the universe within us to create. We have that infinite power. And so after they experience that, it really leaves them embraced in more love, joy, and transcendence, right? And I really love that last part, transcendence, because it's all about taking yourself to the next level. It's all about not being satisfied with where you are currently and seeing a bigger vision. I really love this example of the tree. A tree grows as tall as it can. It stretches its branches out as far as it can. It has no choice. Its leaves soak up as much sunlight and water and oxygen or carbon dioxide as it can, right? And its roots go as far into the ground as it possibly can to get as much nutrient. It has no choice. So as humans, we have a choice, and that's one of the most beautiful things about us. And
I think some people get comfortable and they stop choosing, or they stop realizing that they have the power to choose. So I love awakening people to that power and that God within, so that they can build businesses that really impact the world and make a difference. That's one of the most frustrating things, is having an idea but not knowing how to take it from conception and in your mental space to out in reality. And that's one of the things I love focusing on. Is there's so many coaches out there who focus on, transformation or ideas or feeling good or manifestation or whatever, right? But it's like, really, when it comes down to it, it's about results. Because if you produce results for your clients, then they will keep coming back, right? And they will refer people, and they will have this great image of you. And that's what I want to do. I'm in it for the long haul, man. I'm not here just to make a quick buck. Like, I want people to be left better off, and I want the ripple effect of my coaching to actually transform the world. But that's not what I focus on. I focus on one person at a time, getting them results, and really making a huge impact that leaves them, moved.
Love it, man. I love it. That's the most powerful piece, right? I mean, what difference you make with one other person could change the world. You never know how far your impact can be felt. And one of the things that comes up in conversation a lot is, if you want to make a lot of money, you have to serve a lot of people. If you look at most billionaires in the world, most of them are in industry that serves basically the masses, right? I mean, you look at some of the most impactful industries. I mean, there are things that people don't even think about, but mostly it's like energy or steel manufacturing or agriculture, the things that are basic necessities that serve billions of people. And so I love the fact that that you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's all about the impact that you're making.
Yeah, and something that a lot of business owners and people in general can relate to is the world is getting smaller. All right, technology is allowing us to be instantly connected anywhere, and with the move into virtual reality and augmented reality, it will continue to get even smaller. And living longer spans of life, it'll get smaller because we'll have traveled more of the world. We'll have understood it and understand it, kind of be able to just like do things instantly, get places instantly. Travel is going to go faster, and like things will happen faster, and the world gets smaller. What's so great about that, or what's I guess a threat about that, is especially for the United States. I don't know how far this podcast goes out, but for the United States, like, we thought we were like the king of the world for a long time, right? And since the world is becoming smaller, like, other people are coming and taking our positions. They're like moving into our country and taking positions, or the jobs are being outsourced because we're not like, I'd like to think we're the best, and sometimes those numbers don't match up, right? Sometimes like other countries are far ahead of us in terms of technology. So what's great about that for me and other coaches is people have a much stronger desire to be on the top level of their performance game. It's no longer okay for people to be complacent with their job and feel like they're protected for, go get a job at 20 or whatever and be working there for the next 45, 50, 60 years. They don't have those types of programs anymore. That doesn't happen. People have tons of choices, and companies are constantly going through flux and change. And the great news for the personal development industry is I get to be riding that wave for this new world who all wants to be on the top of their game. And I get to supply them with content and courses and valuable, investments, right? Because an investment in yourself is the highest return on investment that you can make, right? If you invest in yourself and your mind and learn new skills like leadership and communication, that's one of the most powerful investments that you can make in yourself. What's so great is that I get to ride that wave, and anyone else who's a coach, like, we're on the front lines of that. And for me, it's just, I really have a strong desire to be an extremely effective coach, and because it means I'm going to be a great leader. And when I'm a great leader, then I can go out and build massive communities, organizations, and movements that actually make the difference in the world,
Absolutely. I mean, that's very impactful. I mean, that's what, that's why I wanted to have you on, because I know that you're somebody who gets it, and you're somebody who's invested heavily in, and there's all sorts of, I tell this to people all the time, everybody has value. Everybody's bringing value to the table. I know once you kind of get up involved in this industry, you start seeing like everybody is offering something. Everybody has a program or is offering some sort of, but everyone has value. Everyone has intrinsic value. And if it was up to me, I would take everybody's course and I would work with every coach and every mentor on the planet, because everybody who's out there doing it, everyone who's out there doing it and bringing value to the marketplace, there's value that they can create, that every human being can create, that nobody else can recreate.
Wow. Yeah. And when we like recognize that, and one of the biggest things I do is like really empower people to share their story, to realize that they do have that value. You know, there's a lot of, like, I hate to say it, but there's like a lot of sheep in the world who are just kind of doing the same old thing and following what everyone else is doing, right? And one of the things that I empower people to do is not be like everyone else, to realize that they have a story, and there's people that will resonate with their story that don't resonate with anyone else's story or anyone else's message or anyone else's like flavor or soul or style, you know? Like, everyone has something to teach. And so the economy of the future is definitely going to be powered by people's brands and how other people see them. In addition to the world getting smaller, people are also recognizing that what they say makes a difference. And the more that they develop what they say and refine it and let other people or corporations or organizations, businesses, or whatever, know that that's their message, the more support that they will get to get that message out, or the more connections or the more influence that they'll have to create that world vision of how they want to see the world. So it's like people, it makes me laugh when people say they don't use social media these days, because I'm like, how do you not use social media? Like, that's the most powerful tool you have to like actually make a difference and impact the world, right? And so I just, speaking of social media, like I deleted, or just people fell off my social media who weren't in line with my purpose and my vision and my message. And I'm totally okay with that. As a business owner, we have to be okay with repelling the people in the message or the ideas that aren't in line with us, right? We want to repel the audience, the marketplace that doesn't fit in with us. We don't want to waste our advertising dollars on people who, don't believe what we believe. And that's where having a strong why, leaders start with why by Simon Sinek, SIMONSINEK, is such a great, TED Talk, and he has a book, and it's like really starting with that why is so critical. So if there's anything that you can do as a business owner, it's really get clear on your purpose, your why, and the legacy that you want to leave. Because if you're not building towards that, then you're wasting your time. Or if you're not like in active discovery and pursuit of that, then like why are you doing what you're doing? You're just looking for for me, it's like I looked for that cheap thrill for so long, and it was hollow. It got me into trouble. It got me, landing in jail multiple times, right? Luckily, nothing permanent on my record, but it's like it was having me go astray. I was disconnected from my soul and from my purpose, and that's when I started making the changes and doing the personal development and surrounding myself with ridiculously high caliber people like yourself, Brandon, because it's really the people that you surround yourself makes all the difference. And I'm super grateful to be connected with you and all you're up to, and like life is just a blast, man.
Absolutely, man. I feel the same way, and that's why I do what I do, is create a platform for people to really come share what value they bring. Because I think in standard conversations there's always everyone's if you go out networking, right, everyone's a little bit closed off. They don't want to hear about your offer. They don't want to hear about who you are. Really, networking or being out and living your purpose is about impacting other people. And so you can't. It's hard to do that when you're not connected with people and you don't have an authentic connection with people. And that's really, that's just a way of being that I think will help anybody stand out, because when you get into those situations, I think the people who've had incredible amounts of success, they do their due diligence, and they're very, they're very methodical about things, but at the same time, they're also very open, and they're also very, it's just kind of that personality that synergizes the results that you're looking to make is really comes down to being open and connected and actually having the attitude of helping people. And,
totally.
And there's power in that.
Yeah, I want to speak to, when people hear others' offers, like you hear a salesperson or whatever, like talking to you, one thing that I love doing is like just giving people straight, honest feedback when they're like trying to offer me something, right? Like I just got a call the other day as my buddy, and he joined a network marketing company or something like that, and someone else was calling me from the phone, right? And I was like, hey, like I know he really cares about me and I love him, and what you're doing right now is like sounds salesy. And then he tried to like do a reframe of he has all these offices and stuff. I'm like, dude, so you're trying to pull a power move on me? Great, thanks, man. It's totally working. Just like totally being straight and like, listen, stop bullshitting people. Like people don't deserve that. Like let people know what you're up to and be real with people. And if you want to, like, it's not a numbers game, right? Especially business. Like I think we've been trained to think it's a numbers game. It's not. It's a relationship game. And if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong, first of all. And the second thing is, like, how much more of an impact can you make if you take the time to really, really, really connect, really build those relationships, especially as a business owner. You never know who's going to have your back later on. You never know who's going to blow up. You never know who's going to, really be making the difference out there in the world. And so that's why I have the biggest smile on my face with anyone. Even if they're a jerk, I'm like, okay, do your thing. Like, I don't judge people. I don't make them wrong. Like, they can be themselves, and I'm just going to keep being me and keep spreading light and love. And for some reason, I think I just naturally repel people who aren't like that. I don't encounter many people who are like total jerks in my life, and I make sure to surround myself with great people so that doesn't happen. So I totally get that, and it really is about taking the time to make the connection.
Absolutely. And what's interesting there is when you start repelling the people who aren't aligned with your purpose, you start bringing in people who can help you. You're more open to receiving people who can help you or opportunities. And I've seen you getting a lot of speaking engagements and all sorts of opportunities. And I know that the attitude that you put out into the world is really it's really it's really like a broadcasting system, right? Like you're literally telling the universe what you want and what you're expecting, and then you start bringing people in who are so aligned with your resonance and who you're being and what you're up to that everything becomes possible, and you start getting all the connections and everything that you need to fulfill your purpose.
Absolutely, man, and that's one of the greatest things that we can do is, spend time outside of our business. Sometimes we get so caught up in working on the business or in the business that we don't go out there to like build those connections, because it's like really about relationships. Who knows? Maybe you're one like relationship or connection away from a partnership that completely transforms your business, and you never would have known about that. And that's one thing that I really strive to do is connect with people and find out, how can we support each other? How can I get you what you want? And it's been a really big challenge for me, right? Because as I was talking about earlier with the self-interest, like enlightened self-interest, I teach that to everyone I come across. Really it was a challenge because at one point it was very like kind of narcissistic self-interest. And it's like I wanted it just because of me, very transactional. And so breaking through that has been huge. And that's one thing I just want to encourage everyone to do is like, love yourself more than anyone else and anything else. And I mean, if you believe in God, then, love God more than anything else, whatever. But like, start with yourself, because if you can't love yourself, then you're not going to be able to love anyone else, and you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be satisfied. So take the time to like really just sit down, take a deep breath, and just feel how much you love yourself and how proud of you are of yourself, and like all that you've accomplished, everything that you've gone through to get to this point, all the challenges, hurdles, everything like that. It's just, we're really miraculous and remarkable beings, and it takes something out of us or from us. It takes something from us to like really recognize that. It takes a certain type of human being to have the the wherewithal, the audacity to like acknowledge oneself and love oneself. So it's something else that like really makes a difference for me. And I know for everyone that I coach and work with, like they don't give themselves enough credit. So I'm constantly on their ass about like, did you celebrate? Did you like take the time to really feel that and let that in, you know?
Amazing, man. That's a great message. We're talking to Chris Burns from Burn It Up Coaching. Chris, it's been such a pleasure to have you here. I feel like the insights that you share with everybody, you know, we're just, I think everybody out there listening is extremely grateful. And, you know, I'm grateful that you've taken the time. So is there anything in particular that you'd like to close with, or like a website or somewhere where people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'd say most of my content right now is coming out on Facebook. So facebook.com/T as in Tom, H as in Henry, the number 3, and then Burns, my last name, B-U-R-N-S. So TH3BURNS, and that's where you'll find most of my stuff. And I'm redesigning my website right now, so I'll be posting it on social media. But other than that, you know, just really strive to be the very, very best that you can. Anything less than that is just not worthy of your life force and your energy and your potential. And just have it as a goal to expand yourself and have a bigger heart, a bigger capacity to love people every day, and keep smiling and have fun.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Chris. Amazing message.
Thank you, Brandon.
No problem, man. And